English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Chickling.
And today we have a bit of a serious topic to talk about. And we're going to talk about a natural disaster that we're seeing a lot more these days. But let's talk about some natural disasters we've experienced.
Okay, well, what I think of right now is the massive earthquake that I experienced back in middle school. And I remember my sister was taking a shower. I was in my room looking at myself in the mirror. And then the floor started shaking. Oh,
that's so scary.
And I had nowhere to hide.
Right.
I jumped onto my bed, which was wrong.
You should always know your earthquake drills. Well, I've experienced a few typhoons, obviously, in Taiwan. I was in Taiwan for Typhoon Morakot, which was a while ago now, but that was a pretty scary one. And some really big snowstorms in Canada where we've been off school for a week and lots of people died and scary things like that. But neither of those are the ones we are going to talk about today. We are talking about wildfires today. And of course, we have been hearing in the news of lots of wildfires happening in the US. So let's find out more about them.
Reading.
Wildfires, nature's deadly disasters. In hot, dry places, fire is a serious danger to people and property. Large ones, like those that often affect California, can affect areas measuring millions of square kilometers. When plants are dry and winds are strong, all it can take is a single spark to start a fire. The results can be deadly. In November 2018, the Camp Fire, which started in Butte County, California, burned for more than 2 weeks. Having killed 85 people, it is the deadliest wildfire to have hit the U.S. in 100 years. Fire relies on the fire triangle, a combination of 3 things. A fire needs fuel, like dry wood, oxygen, especially from wind, and heat. If all 3 are present, fires can start naturally, such as when lightning strikes, but the causes can also be human. Once a fire starts, it can grow very quickly. What happens next depends on the fuel available and the speed and direction of the wind. One thing is certain though, the flames have to be contained fast.
All right, we are talking about wildfires today. So let's learn about how they start and what they do. It says here, in hot, dry places, fire is a serious danger to people and property. Now, of course, we know what people are. Let's find out what property is. Property is a noun, and it can talk about the things that people own, such as cars and all the things they keep in their houses. Or it can talk about the buildings and land that people and businesses own. Now here, we're kind of talking about both. We're talking about the buildings and the houses and all of the things inside them. Now here's an example. You should protect your property by buying insurance. That way, if something happens to it, you can get money to pay for the damage.
好，所以 property 就是所有物财产的意思，那么也有房产的意思哦。那像刚刚 Aaron 老师说，在这边呢，可能代表是你的所有物啊，你的之前的东西，包括是一些建筑物，都是包括在里面的。It's a noun。那我们来造几个句子。Keeping stolen property is against the law。就是保留失窃物品是犯法的哦。And the next one, property prices are super high in that area. 该地区的房价非常高 in Taipei. Property can also mean a quality that something has. 我们所以就可以一个东西的特性什么的。所以我们来看一下句子。Herbs have medical properties. 就是草药有医疗的特性。
And also, not just keeping stolen property against the law, taking other people's property is against the law too. So don't take it. All right. Now that we've talked about that, let's continue on. It says here, large ones, like those that often affect California, can affect areas measuring millions of square kilometers. Now here we use the verb affect. It's spelled A-F-F-E-C-T, which is different than effect or effect, which is E-F-F-E-C-T, and that's the noun form. All right, so when something affects another thing, it produces a different effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, or change in that thing or situation. It's similar to saying something has an impact. Now here's another example. Marty's decision will affect my decision. If he says no, I will have to change my plans.
好，那我们来看一下 affect 这个字哦，它就是有影响的意思，是一个动词。那么刚刚 Aaron 老师有提到 affect 跟 effect 要搞清楚哦 ，effect 是名词 E-F-F-E-C-T。好，那我们先来用动词造一个句子。His drinking was starting to affect the performance of his duties. 他爱喝酒，开始影响他工作的表现。So affect is a verb. We talked about that. Now we saw the word effect. It's a noun. 我们再说一次哦，很重要。That means the result of an influence. 就是一个影响。那它当名词用，就这样想就对，就不会写错了。好，那我们来看下面另外一个例句。She understands the serious effects of smoking. However, she can't find a way to quit. 她了解吸烟对身体带来严重的影响，但她还是不知道怎么去戒掉它。
And we also saw the phrase millions of in that sentence, right? We said forest fires can destroy millions of square kilometers of land. Now, we use the phrase millions of to talk about things in very large numbers. Here, obviously, the number we're talking about is over 1 million. Now, as an example sentence, we could say, millions of people live in this city and travel on the trains, subway, and buses here every day.
好哦，那我们刚刚 Aaron 老师提到了 1 million 就是100万嘛，所以我们 million 把 one 拿掉，变 as millions of 就是数以百万的。那么如果数以千计就是 thousands of，那数以百计的 hundreds of，and we also have other forms，我们像 billions of，数十亿的，even more than millions of，那 hundreds of thousands of 这个也蛮常用，数十万的，or tens of millions of。数千万的。
A lot of different ways to talk about numbers.
Yeah.
All right, but let's also make sure we talk about square kilometers. Now we know what a kilometer is.
Yeah.
What's a square kilometer?
Square 就是平方的嘛，那我们这边 square 它就是正方，它有一个名词是正方形的意思，但是它如果放在 kilometers 前面，就把它翻成平方公里。那么立方公里就是 cubic kilometers。好，那所以像那些影响 California 那些很大的森林火灾，严重是可以影响整个数百万平方公里的区域。
Okay,
Yeah, that
well,
sounds bad.
If you look at a map, if you go online and you look at a map, you can see a map of looking overhead and see how much the fires have destroyed. So it's actually pretty devastating. Now let's continue on in the article. It says, when plants are dry and winds are strong, all it can take is a single spark to start a fire.
So a spark is a small piece of fire flying out from something that's burning, or it could also mean a first small problem that causes a much worse situation to happen. 所以就是有小火花、导火线的意思。那么它也可以当微量啊、一点点、丝毫的意思哦。那我们来看一下这个句子。She doesn't show a spark of interest in singing. 就是she's not interested in singing at all. 就是她完全没有兴趣。
I'm not interested in singing.
OK， 那我们回到课文中啊，所以植物呈现很干的状态 ，hot dry plants， 然后风又很大，一点的小火花就可以引起火灾。
Right, so even one little spark of fire can start a fire.
Yeah.
And it says here, the results can be deadly. Now that does not sound good.
I know. So deadly is when something is deadly, that means it is likely to cause death.
That's right.
就是致命的意思。所以这边的火灾也是可能会造成伤亡的。
Right. Okay, so we've been talking about what kind of it takes to start a fire. Let's talk about a specific fire now. It says, in November 2018, the Camp Fire, that's its name, which started in Butte County, California, burned for more than 2 weeks.
I can't even think about it.
That's a really long time for one fire. And you know, without a lot of resources, it's hard to put it out. Here, it also says in the article, having killed 85 people, it is the deadliest wildfire to have hit the U.S. in 100 years.
好，那我们来看一下刚刚 Aaron 老师说那句句子的文法哦。那句就是主要的分词构句，那么它的功能就是去精简句子。所以当两个句子中的 subject 主词是一样的时候，你又不想重复两次，我们就可以用分词构句来连接两个句子哦。那分词构句它会有的改变呢，就是去省略两个句子中的表示原因、条件或者是先发生的事情那一句的主词，我们再省略掉连接词、动词再做变化就可以了。那我们来看一下下面两种分词构句哦，主要有分成主词主动跟主词被动。好，那我们从两个句子来看。I felt embarrassed. I left the class. 那把这两句接在一起呢，就可以变成 I left the class because I felt embarrassed. 那如果要变成分词构句的话呢，我们就先去掉连接词 because， 然后省略子句内和主句相同的主词就好了。那么动词 felt 改变成现在分词，那就会变成 feeling embarrassed. I left the class. 好不好？那好，我们另外一种主词被动。那如果今天是被动的话，很简单，你就把现在分词变成过去分词就 OK 啦。好，那我们来看一下下面的例句。The cat was soaked with water. 跟 The cat looked sick. 好，因为猫被水浸湿了，所以看起来病恹恹的。那如果把它变成分词构句的话，很简单，它是被浸湿的嘛，直接 soaked with water. The cat looked sick.
All right, so as we can see, a very dangerous fire. You know, this campfire.
Yeah.
Now, campfire is often a word that we use when we talk about camping, right? And in that case, it's one word. It's spelled Campfire.
Yeah.
But this fire was a little bit different. The name of the fire was campfire. It was two words. All right, now, it says here, fire relies on the fire triangle, a combination of three things. So here we're going to talk about what fires need to survive. Now, the verb rely, when one thing relies on or relies upon another thing, it needs that thing to happen, be true, or exist. So what we're saying here is that without these three specific things, a fire will go out. It needs these three things to keep going. Here's another example. Humans rely on certain vitamins and nutrients and water to survive. Without them, we would die.
所以 rely 就是有依赖、依靠的意思。It's a verb, and we usually use it as a phrase rely on， 就是去依赖某个东西或某个人。那我们看一下下面的例句。The only person you can rely on is yourself. 你能依赖的人只有你自己。And in most contexts, we can replace it with depend on as well.
That's right. So you can depend on yourself, you can depend on other people. Okay, now let's also talk about the noun combination.
So combination is the mixture you get when two or more things are combined， 就是有结合啊、组成的意思。那么文章意思就是说，这个 fire triangle 这个火是仰赖于火三角，你需要三种元素去让一个火发生。
Okay, so three things, fire triangle. It's an easy way to remember it. All right, let's find out what these three things are. It says a fire needs fuel, like dry wood, oxygen, especially from wind, and of course, heat and heat.
Yeah.
All right, so we need three things. We need fuel, oxygen, heat. Let's talk about fuel first. Fuel is a noun and it's a substance. In the article, we said dry wood. That is our fuel. But it could also be other things like gas, oil, and etc. Okay, so fuel could also be grass, that sort of thing. Anything that a fire can burn is a fuel. Now, fuel is used to burn things to create energy. So, of course, the fuel we use for our cars is either gas, diesel, or electricity. So all those things are fuel as well. Here's another example. What kind of fuel do you use to heat your house? I use an electric heater right now.
好，所以 fuel 就是燃料的意思。It's used as a noun here， 在这边当名词，所以我们就可以说run out of fuel or be out of fuel。那 that means you don't have any fuel left， 就是燃料用光了。好 let's take a look at the example sentence here. Millions of trees have been cut down for fuel. 就是数以百万计的树木被砍伐去当成是燃料。So we can also use fuel as a verb. It means to provide power to something or to increase a type of behavior or a feeling. 所以我们就可以说our heating system is fueled by gas. 或者是呢 His rude remarks fueled the argument. 它的就是出炉引起了争辩。
Okay, so we know what fuel is. Let's talk about another part of the fire triangle, oxygen.
So oxygen is a gas that we breathe in with no smell, no color, and it forms a large part of the air on Earth. Now, animals and plants and human beings need it in order to survive. 就是氧气。
Now, if you know your science at all, you'll know that we usually think of oxygen as just the letter O.
Yeah, O.
All right, now let's move on in the article. We know what a fire needs. Let's find out what happens if it has these things. It says, if all three are present, fires can start naturally, such as when lightning strikes. But the causes can also be human.
So naturally means happening as part of nature and not done or made by people or in a normal way. 就是自然的啊，天生的。那文章就是代表说，如果3种元素都有了，火就会自然咯，就会开始发生这个火灾。
Right, so lightning is actually a big cause of fires. Lightning causes a lot of them, but humans can also cause them too. Now, we saw in that sentence the word human, but we weren't using it as a noun to talk about people. We were using it as an adjective in that sentence. So we were saying that the fire could be created by a human cause.
所以它就可以翻译成人为的意思，在这边当形容词。
And of course, once a fire starts, it can grow very quickly. It doesn't just kind of sit around and look pretty. It just grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, especially if those three things are always there. Now, it says here in the article, what happens next depends on the fuel available and the speed and direction of the wind. Okay, now we saw the phrase depend on something. Now, like Chicolin said earlier, this is similar to the phrase rely on. When one thing depends on something else, it needs that thing to happen, exist, or be true. For example, I'm depending on you to finish this task. Will you be able to do it by Friday?
好，又出现咯 depend on something 依赖依靠的意思。那我们再说几个句子。She depends too much on other people to help her. 她太依赖别人帮她了。Or a man's worth depends on what he is and not what he has. 一个人的价值，对啊，取决于他是什么，是什么人，而不是他拥有什么。
Okay, so what happens next with the fire depends on what fuel is available. Now, when something is available, this adjective means that there is enough of this thing to be used, or it is easy to find, or it's just ready to be used. So, if there is fuel available, there is fuel there. Now here, we don't want fuel to be available because that will make the fire burn longer and farther. Here's an example sentence. There are no seats available right now. Come back in an hour and we'll be less busy.
所以 available 就是可得到的、可取得的意思。How now? Let's take a look at some sentences here. There are no tickets available for the concert. 演唱会的票没了。Or this novel is widely available in libraries. 这本小说在每个图书馆，大部分的图书馆都可以找到。So when somebody is available, they're not busy and they're able to do something. 所以就可以说啊 the vet is only available on weekdays. 又或者是 Are you available tomorrow?
I'm not. I have to work. All right. Well, we know that if the fire has all of those things, it's going to burn longer, it's going to burn farther, it might even burn faster. And the wind and the speed of the wind will push it in certain directions, right? And it says here, one thing is certain though, the flames have to be contained fast. Now let's find out what a flame is. You might know what this is based on the article already, but let's talk about it. A flame is a noun and it's the hot burning gas that you can see when something is on fire. Now we think of the flames when we see the red and yellow and blue when you see the fire. That's the gas burning. Here's an example. The children warmed their hands over the small flames on the cool night.
所以 flame 就是火焰、火舌的意思哦。It's a noun here in our article, so we can say go up in flames or be up in flames. Be in flames 就是着火的意思。Something is in flames. 好，所以就可以说啊 The building went up in flames out of a sudden， 就是建筑物突然就起火了。所以 flame 也可以当动词嘛，所以 when it's a verb, it means to burn more brightly or especially。Well, for literary use, we can refer flames to an emotion. 就是你可能突然生气，也可以用 flame 这个字。好，那我们来说一下下面的句子。He flamed out when he saw his cheating girlfriend. 他看到出轨的女朋友就生气了。
Right. All right. Well, we've learned all about what a fire needs to start, what a fire might do, and when it spreads. But tomorrow we're going to come back with more information about how to put the fire out. But we can't do that today. We're all out of time. So let's finish off with today's For You Chat.
For You Chat.
All right, let's talk about the question, do you know what to do if you see a fire? Everyone should have an answer for this.
Yeah.
My answer is not really. But
well, not to panic first.
Not to panic.
Not to panic.
First thing, don't panic. Second thing, how big is the fire?
Yeah, and get everyone out of the building as soon as possible.
If it's small enough, you can put the fire out with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Unless you see, don't try to put water on it, try to use an extinguisher. If you're cooking with oil on the stove, don't use water to put it out.
Oh, it's going to explode?
It'll explode.
Yeah.
Use baking soda or baking powder, one of those things.
Yeah.
But yes, get out of the building. If you don't think you can put it out, get to safety. Get everyone to safety.
Yeah.
That's what I think you should do.
Yeah, and if there's a big fire, stay low on the floor. Yeah, so you can breathe in cleaner air.
Right, that the smoke goes up. And call 911 or 119.
Yeah, 111. In Taiwan, what should we call in Taiwan?
I don't know.
111? 911?
119.
119.
All right,
okay.
119.
Oh, sorry.
We will tell you the right one. Call 119. That's the right one. All right, well, hopefully we don't come across any fires, guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys know more what to do if you see a fire than we do.
Yeah.
Go learn if you don't, which is what we're going to do now.
Yeah.
But we will be back tomorrow to talk more about people who do know how to put out a fire. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wildfires, nature's deadly disasters. In hot, dry places, fire is a serious danger to people and property. Large ones, like those that often affect California, can affect areas measuring millions of square kilometers. When plants are dry and winds are strong, all it can take is a single spark to start a fire. The results can be deadly. In November 2018, the Camp Fire, which started in Butte County, California, burned for more than 2 weeks. Having killed 85 people, it is the deadliest wildfire to have hit the U.S. in 100 years. Fire relies on the fire triangle, a combination of 3 things. A fire needs fuel, like dry wood, oxygen, especially from wind, and heat. If all 3 are present, fires can start naturally, such as when lightning strikes, but the causes can also be human. Once a fire starts, it can grow very quickly. What happens next depends on the fuel available and the speed and direction of the wind. One thing is certain though, the flames have to be contained fast.
Vocabulary Review.
Property. It's a crime to take another person's property without their permission. Affect. Zola's bad mood affected her brother, and soon they were both feeling terrible. Rely. A lot of companies rely on computers and the internet. Without these, companies wouldn't be able to operate. Fuel. Gas is not an efficient form of fuel, which is why electric scooters are becoming more popular. Available. There are no rooms available at that hotel this weekend. We'll have to stay somewhere else. Flame. Keep your hands away from the flames, Todd. The fire could burn you.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net